So I did a video a while back talking about how I help new students resolve the coordination on a bossa nova. Now this seemed to spark a lot of pushback from other drummers because it's an uncommon method. So I got a lot of comments like this. The method I'm using is more of an audiation approach that focuses on groupings. Notation and groupings are really the same thing. In fact, notation is just a way of organizing groupings of notes. Let's take a look at it. So let's take a look at a note source. So if I read from the beginning up to beat 2 of this measure, you're going to get something like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a. Now, if we break that down and I say, starting on a note that's playing, if I count all the 16th notes until the next playing note, you would get these 4 16th notes. From the dotted 8th note, you get these 3. From this 16th note, you get these 3. From this 8th note, you get these 2. From this quarter note, you'd actually get these 5. From that dotted 8th note, you get these 3. From this quarter note, you get these 4. Now, if we look at that from a grouping standpoint, this is a group of 4 16th notes. That's a group of 3 16th notes. That's a group of 3 16th notes. That's a group of 2 16th notes. That's a group of 5 16th notes. That's a group of 3 16th notes. And that's a group of 4 16th notes. Let's count it that way. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. If I count it in notation or if I count it in groupings, you'll come to the same sound. This is how master drummers that don't know how to read standard notation can still play their ass off because they understand the groupings. All notation is a system for organizing the groupings. Now let's apply both systems to a bossa nova and think about which way might be simpler for a beginner, especially when it doesn't understand notation. Now, if you're teaching a bossa nova to a beginner, the two most complicated voices are that syncopated bossa nova clave that you're doing on the cross stick and the more straightforward surdo pattern that you're playing on the bass drum. It sounds like this in standard counting. 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a 1. If I break that up into its groups, you have 1E and a 2E and a 1 E and a 2E and a 1. If I do that in groupings, the way I teach it, it sounds like this. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1. If I break that up into groups, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1. Now, which do you think is more complicated for a beginner? Counting solid numbers 1 2 3 or counting syncopated 16th notes?